Hi, welcome back to the channel. I'm Michelle, and today I want to share with you my art resources for teaching in our homeschool. If you're new here, I have a 9.5-year-old daughter, 5.5-year-old daughter, 2-year-old son, teaching my 2 oldest. Now I want to share specific art resources I use because I have found art to be a particular intimidating subject for me to teach, and that's mainly because I don't have a lot of experience with art. You know, growing up and in high school, college, I actively avoided taking art classes because I always pegged myself as not that type of person. I wasn't very creative. I was always a very logically minded person. And for me, art intimidated me because it required creating something from within, creating something from scratch. And I'm one that can take different, like I took digital photography and film photography. I can take things like that and make it into something else. But I was always intimidated by the thought of making something of my own from scratch. So I always avoided art classes. And one of the nice things about homeschooling is it has given me the opportunity to explore art from not a graded standpoint, from a right or wrong standpoint, but for just exploring it. And that is what I've done. I've looked at many different art curriculums, and none of them really meshed well with me or my kids. So we've just really been exploring art, different techniques, different painters, and just seeing where it takes us. And it's a very natural, organic approach, and it's been going really well. So first I'm going to share some of my specific supplies I use, some of the educational books I use, and then some specific art instructional books I use. So first I'll start with supplies. Now most of my art supplies I just picked up from Michael's. I know there's different brands and all that, and some people are partial. Since we are just exploring, and again, I have younger children, I don't feel the need to invest in higher end art supplies at this point in our life. As we get older and learn more, perhaps, but I'm fine just picking up some things at Michael's. I also really like the Arteza brand, which you can find on Amazon, but one of the things we picked up was this. First I have a variety of paint set. This stand is actually from the dollar store. You can pick it up in the craft section, but it holds all of our paintbrushes. Now my kids have another set of paintbrushes that they use for whatever they want to, but this is when we're specifically doing things together. The paintbrushes are just a pack from Michael's that I got in the back to school. I really like that it included these tools because, again, I have never used these types of tools while painting. So this stays on my desk, and it's one of those things we bring out when we're doing things together, but the kids have access to their own paint set. But it's nice to have a stand that holds them all, and it's really nice to be able to put it in here to dry when we're done using. So obviously paintbrushes are essential. We have, and again, these are just the little boxes you can find at Michael's. I store all of our oil pastels in here, and I just have them separated by cool colors and warm colors. And again, the kids are harsher on these, so I'm not too concerned about brand or if they break or anything like that. But obviously, having a set of oil pastels is nice. We picked this up at, I believe, Target, and it's watercolor pencils, so we've been experimenting with this as well. And obviously, you draw and then you can dip your paintbrush in water, and it will become a watercolor. I have this set, we've had this set forever from Michael's, I believe. A nice watercolor set. Again, I don't mind if the kids really get into these things. I do have some palettes. I have a bunch of these small ones and then a really large one too that we use to kind of help maintain the paint. We do have a large selection of acrylic paints. Someone gifted my oldest one of those huge bundles from Michael's that has, and I just keep it in a shoebox away from my 2-year-old because he loves to dump these out. But it's just a bunch of different colors of acrylic, and again, I sort these by shade so it's easier for the kids to find. But those are the main supplies we have. Of course, we also have things we paint on. I just picked this up from Michael's because when I was getting the paintbrushes, this was on sale. Again, you can find all these things on Amazon as well. But we just use this. Sometimes if we're doing a specific, like out of a book, we're trying to learn a technique, I will use the special paper. If they're just painting, I just give them regular paper. So those are the main supplies I use. Now let's start with just painting books, learning about artists or different techniques. So I really like the Getting to Know the World's Greatest Artists series. Now, there are a ton in this series. I just have this one. I'm going to be showing you a lot of the things I own, but there are definitely more in the series. So I've had this one for a while. And again, this doesn't go over necessarily techniques or how to do it. It just goes over Andy Warhol's life. But it's done in a way that I think it's very easy and digestible for children. We do have a couple different in the series as well. So that's just an informational book. And then I got this at the library book sale for $1. I really like these series. There's art techniques, 13 art techniques kids should know, artists kids should know. There's a bunch in the series. I'll try to link a couple of them down below with Amazon. But I really do like these. And again, this is the only one I've owned. The library does have a lot more. But it goes over different artists. It obviously gives an example of their work and a brief biography of the artist. And then I'll go on to the next one. So again, it's not overwhelming. It's not going into a lot of detail, but I don't need a lot of detail. We just need to skim the surface at this point while we're learning and exploring. So the rest of the books I have and the resources I have are books that will help you learn a specific thing. So I saw this on YouTube. I can't remember where I saw it. But this is kind of a art masterclass. And again, they have a bunch in the series that you can get. I got this off Amazon. But it teaches you how to paint like Monet. So obviously you go through the life, brief biography, but each page gives you kind of a, this is how they did it, now it's your turn. And I really like that it's interactive and they can get a chance to see how it's done and then do it for themselves, and you go through it. So we have this on our shelf when we go over Monet. Now we've also had this book for a long time, the Osborne Art Treasury. And again, I like that it goes over table contents. It goes over, you're going to look at a specific painting, an artist, and then you get an opportunity to try out that technique or what the artist is best known for. So that would be Van Gogh's Starry Night. Again, you'll go to the next painting, you'll look at it, you'll talk about it, and then you get an opportunity to do the art described. And what I really like is this is very doable art. It doesn't require a lot of crazy supplies. It's not a lot of crazy instructions. It doesn't get too deep into technique, and I think the illustrations are very child-friendly. We've done this one as well. So I really like this book to pull out and just try different things because, again, like I said, we're just exploring. We're figuring out what we like, what we don't like. This is How to Paint with Acrylics, an art book for kids ages 8 to 12. I found this on the Mama Librarian. She had it in one of her videos, and I really liked it. The kids and I have done a couple of them. This definitely, I think, goes more into technique, which I like. So we did I showed in a previous video, the tree branch, and talk about shading and different things. So you focus on a specific thing. Obviously, this lesson was focusing on light. So it does dive deeper, but completely doable for that age range. I really like it for myself too, because again, at one point I might have had this education in elementary school, but I don't remember most of it. I definitely haven't done it in like 20 years. So it's really nice for me to get the opportunity to learn alongside my children. That is one of the benefits of homeschooling, right? You get a chance to do it again. So I really enjoy going through these with my children as well. Now, the next are a bunch of different series. So Make a Masterpiece, we have Pen and Ink, Make a Masterpiece Pastels. Again, these are the ones I checked out from the library. I do not own these. And watercolors. You can see they have an entire series. And what I really like about these is, for example, let me show you acrylics. So this one I checked out from the library, and this was one of the lessons we did using, let me see if I can find it, just this tool. And it was really cool because I've never before used, I'm sure there's a name for it, I don't know what it is right now. I've never used the painting knife before to make a painting. So the kids and I did that, and I think it gives really good instructions, easy to follow. I know a lot of people prefer like video instructions, but with these books, I think they're an awesome resource. Another thing I did with that is to make a cat, and again, step by step, it gives you instructions in the pictures of how to do it, and I think it's very doable, and I've really enjoyed doing it myself and exploring, you know, different techniques and different ways of going about art and losing that mentality of this is right or wrong, or it doesn't look exactly like the picture. That's fine. Art is not right or wrong. It's going to be different. The perspective from each person is going to be different, and that's the amazing thing of art. So I'll show you some of the watercolor one. But like I said, it starts with obviously explaining what watercolor is. It goes over the basics of, you know, mixing color. Then it goes into learning different lessons. So what I really like about these books is they often build upon the previous lessons. So this teaches you how to do a wash of your canvas and then add clouds to it. So it's building upon previous things you learned. So for pastels, I do have some examples my kids did. So this was one of the lessons. And again, it goes through similar to the other book, what is pastels, techniques for using it. And you start off by doing the simple techniques, like the cross-hatching, and practicing that. And then as you get further on, you have more complicated art you'll be doing. But this is one that the kids and I recently did, and I think it turned out really well, and it was a lot of fun. They got to, and of course we didn't have black paper, but they got to explore different techniques, cross-etching, things like that. This was my 5.5-year-old. I think that's upside down. I think that's an astronaut and a rocket, if I remember correctly. And then this was my 9.5-year-old, and what I love about hers is she, I just glittered myself, felt the need to glitter, because glitter always makes things better. So she took it a step further, just really allowing herself the freedom to make art. So that was pastels, and then let's see, we have pen and ink. This one was really interesting too, going over different techniques of just using a pen. It goes over different supplies you could have. I used just a ballpoint pen with the kids, and that was fine. We didn't get like special little ink containers or anything, but it goes over different marks, different pens we make. And then it goes over, again, cross-hatching, things like that, different techniques you can use. This is one of the projects my 9.5-year-old did. The picture's upstairs in her room, so I'm not gonna go get that, but it was really fun for her. She's really into horses, and we have a lot of pictures, and she rides horses too. So she knows the directions that their fur goes, and that's what the lesson was about, drawing specifically how the animal's fur or feathers or whatever you're drawing, scales, how they would look in real life. And this is one that we did too. You can see the hand is all a different kind of texture. So this is what ours ended up looking like, and it was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing that. This one is mine, and just having fun with it. So the last book I have is actually an ebook that we check out from the library. I will put a picture here. It's actually part of our Torchlight curriculum. It's a paint lab, and it's specifically, I believe, doing watercolors, and I've shared some of the ones the kids have done in the past too. But again, it gives you a brief. It's very, very simplified. So it will start with an example of an artist's work, and it's definitely more modern artists that you'll see, and there's always links, at least because I use it as an ebook, there's links where you can check out the artist's work for other things that they've done too, but it goes step by step, and we use it on our tablet of how to make it. So this was, I believe, blending, if I remember correctly. That was the lesson, and recently we did fireworks, so learning about splattering and how much water to use to make it go in different directions using air, breath, straws, things like that. So that is also something we were introduced through Torchlight that we're really liking. But again, all these resources was just exploring. We're just starting to dip our toes into different things and just have fun with it. One thing we are using for more technique and some art study, because again, I don't have a background in that. It's not something I'm strong in. I really do like these art hardcourt books. I have them from 1st to 4th grade. And again, I just got these off eBay. They're like $4 or $5. Or actually I got mine off thrift books, I believe. So you can tell, and what I like, because they were by age level, it's not too much information, it's just perfect for that age amount. And they do go over similar concepts, but it builds upon, obviously 1st grade is gonna have a lot less information than 4th grade. So what we've been doing is we do just a lesson a week. And this is definitely something you would see more in a public school curriculum, but my sister-in-law is an art teacher actually, and she really likes this, and it gives them that foundational understanding of like texture, art form, lines, things that having a general knowledge would be useful. Like there's the actual application of it, but you also need to kind of learn why those things are that way and how we look at art. So for example, a lesson we just did was on texture. So we looked at a specific painting, and this is the, I believe, 1st grade. Yeah, this is grade 1. So you can see how simple it is. You look at a simple picture, you talk about it, and then you have an opportunity to make something similar like that. It gives you really free reign. It gives you real life examples of how that art is used. I know for pattern, they were talking about clothing and textiles, things like that. But it's really, in my opinion, laying a nice foundation and helping me, because I don't know a lot of the specific words or techniques. So this would be grade 2, and it's laid out very similar. It's very discussion based, talks about a specific concept, gives you an example of work, and then gives you as the artist an opportunity to try it. So I've really been enjoying these. So something we definitely do every week is we do a hardcourt art lesson, and part of Torchlight, we do a watercolor lesson every week. On top of that, we have all these resources. So usually what's been happening is on the weekends, we'll pick something up and we'll just play with it. We'll just have fun with it. And it's really been nice. It's really opened my eyes to what art can be and the possibilities of not trying to make it so perfect. I'm a natural perfectionist, so is my oldest, and I can see her frustration of the frustration I had when I was younger too, that you could never get your art to look like that picture you're trying to make or the artist made, because it's not supposed to. Your art is unique to you, and allowing that growth and being okay with it not being perfect but a reflection of you is great. So those are the resources I've been using for art. If you have any questions, leave them down below. If not, thank you for watching.